Hey, all you nature nuts out there. Welcome to another awesome outdoor report covering environmental current events and news. And today we're going to talk about what Mass Audubon says we might see in this time in January for our area. We're going to talk about an unfortunate thing that we're finding in the Antarctic or in the Arctic, and we're going to go over what full moons we might be seeing this year. So it's going to be a good one. Check it out. If you want to skip any of it, look below and for our tags, and you can skip around and check it out. And thanks for being here. Please like and subscribe, all that jazz. Let's get to it. Every month, the Mass Audubon puts out this little infographic where they talk about some of the stuff you'll see throughout the month, right? And so January 2021, I thought it'd be a good time to kind of start the year off and see what's going on. So we already did, we're on the 18th, so we've already done this stuff over here, and some of the things is like on the 6th, unlike most deciduous trees, oaks and beeches are marcescent, which means they can hold their dead leaves all winter. Oak leaves are dark brown and stiff, while beech leaves are soft and very pale. So if you ever been like, hey, that tree is kind of like a goose going north in the winter, going the wrong way, bud, you should probably shed your leaves. It's winter, but not all trees do that. So over here, stuff that is going on right now, the 18th, you might have been hearing, I live in an area where I do hear a lot of coyotes. And I've been noticing they're a little more vocal. And so I didn't, this little thing right here kind of made it a little more sense for me. So right under number 18 says, signs of coyote breeding season can be found in parallel coyote tracks and scent markings and duet howling. So it's breeding season for coyotes. So maybe that's why we might be here. I might be hearing a little more coyote action. But it's not been much snow, so not being able to see much of the tracks and stuff. But So on the 23rd, they say the beauty of bark is most easily appreciated in winter. Look for the distinctive coverings of white ash, interconnected narrow diamonds, quaking aspen, pale grayish green smooth on the branches and rough on the older trunk, American beech, silvery gray and very smooth, and sugar maple, grayish, thickened vertical stripes broken into irregular rectangles. I'm even going to add to that yellow birch. Yellow birch is very pretty right now. It's like kind of like a vibrant yellow, and it looks like it's, like the paper birch, right? It kind of looks like it's feathering off the bark, It's got horizontal markings instead of vertical, and you can brush your teeth with it. But it's just one of those trees like they're talking about. The beauty of the bark is easily seen in the winter. That's one of them. 28th, we got a full moon. This month's full moon is often called the wolf moon, but many eastern woodland tribes use names that reference the continuing cold and snow. The Mohawk called it the big cold moon. On the 29th, if you are hiking in if you're hiking in an area near rivers and or lakes and there is snow on the ground, look for the distinctive slides of river otters where they travel between bodies of water. Otters lope along like weasels, but in snow. They may flop onto their bellies and glide along, occasionally pushing with their back feet, kind of like a penguin. So if you've seen penguins move, you can kind of get an idea of river otters. So, and they're around, we got them. So look for, around riverbanks and stuff, look for those little sliding marks. You might think of it as a beaver, but Could be a river otter. The 30th. Spend an hour outside at dusk listening for hooting owls. This is the best time of year to hear great horned owls, barred owls, and eastern screech owls as they set up territories and find mates. So they're gearing up to do their thing, and right around the evening time is the best, dusk. And, if you're lucky enough to be wandering around, you might even see them. Last year, I was able to see one fly down and catch a field mouse right in front of me. It was crazy. So, yeah, take a peek at the other stuff. There's some good stuff on here to keep you out and about in January, kind of keep you piquing your interest. All right, we did some lighthearted news. We'll do a little bit of serious news here, and then we'll go back to the lighthearted good stuff, So, the Arctic has become riddled with synthetic clothing fibers. I don't know if you've seen this one yet, friends. So the Arctic has become riddled with microplastic. We kind of knew that. When most people imagine microplastic pollution, they might think of shards of soda bottles, plastic bags, an assortment of other trash. However, a new study has shown that the majority of microplastic pollution in the Arctic is actually from clothing. Synthetic fibers make up around 92% of microplastic pollution found in near-surface seawater samples from across the Arctic Ocean, and about 73% of those fibers are polyester, thought to originate from clothing and textiles, according to new research published in the journal Nature Communications. The Arctic Ocean, while distant to many of us, has long provided food and the way of life for Inuit communities. Dr. Peter Ross, lead author of the study, special advisor to OceanWise and adjunct professor at Earth, Atmospheric, and Ocean Sciences at the University of British Columbia, said in a statement, "The study again underscores the vulnerability of the Arctic to environmental change and to pollutants transported from the south. It also provides important baseline data that will guide policymakers in mitigation of microplastic pollution in the world's oceans, with synthetic fibers emerging as priority." It's hard to see. Look at that one fiber, That's a microscopy image of plastic fibers found in Arctic seawater. Excuse me, sorry. Scientists from the nonprofit group OceanWise took water samples from 71 locations across the European and North American Arctic, including the North Pole, as well as water samples up to a depth of 1,015 meters, 3,330 feet, at 6 sites in the Beaufort Sea. They found an average of around 40 microplastic particles per cubic meter across the whole of the Arctic. Although they discovered 3 times more microplastic particles in the eastern Arctic compared to the west, this, the researchers say, indicates polyester fibers are being delivered to the eastern Arctic Ocean from the Atlantic, although the Pacific also adds to the stream of microplastics. Less water is transported from this ocean to the northern polar region compared to the Atlantic. Different types of plastic were also found at different depths, most likely an indication of how dense they are. Much of these fibers made their way into the natural environment through laundry and clothes washing. A study from 2016 found that each domestic clothes wash can release more than 700,000 microscopic synthetic fibers into wastewater. The researchers of this new study point out that a single wastewater treatment plant can pump out as much as 21 billion microfibers into the environment annually. Holy shnikes. From here, they make their way into river systems, and eventually the ocean, where they are transported across the world through oceanic currents or atmospheric transport. The researchers conclude their study by saying they hope the growing body of research on microplastic fibers from clothing might spark some changes from policymakers and manufacturers. Their team is already working with the retail sectors, government agencies, in the Arctic Inuit and Inuvialuit communities, to try to find some solutions to this ever-growing problem. So this is really serious, friends. Like, we already knew this was a huge problem, and now, like, look at the numbers they're talking about: 700,000 just from us washing. Like, you washing your stuff. Like, we have to do better. This is nuts, because this is just an ever-growing problem. It's not going away, and I don't think being nice and talking to policymakers is going to do it. I think it's going to require you and I. And I don't know, once the solutions are out there, we'll report it, friends. Right now, we just got to find the problems so then we can create the solutions. And here's one giant, enormous growing problem. Well, if that didn't make you depressed, hopefully this cheers you up a little bit. So, this year, we're going to have 12 full moons in 2021. And it'll include 3 supermoons, a blue moon, and 2 lunar eclipses. So it's going to be a great year for moon watching. So sky watchers have a lot to look forward to in 2021, with 3 supermoons, 1 blue moon, and 2 lunar eclipses all taking place during the new year. Astronomy experts say that the 3 supermoons, full moons, that appear to be slightly bigger and brighter than a typical full moon because of their closer orbit to Earth, will be rising in the sky during consecutive months, April, May, and June. Last time we saw a supermoon trifecta was during the first 3 months of 2019. After that, 2 supermoons appeared in 2020, one in March and one in April. So we get a special treat this year since 2020 didn't do it. While 2020 featured a rare Halloween blue moon, the second of 2 full moons during the same calendar month, the blue moon that will be appearing in 2021 is a different type of blue moon. The August 22nd full moon will be considered a seasonal blue moon, which is the third of 4 full moons appearing during the same season. In this case, it will be the 3rd moon of summer. The others are June 24th, July 23rd, September 20th. Total lunar eclipse in May. Some astronomy experts, including Brian Lotta at AccuWeather, are billing the May lunar eclipse as the best astronomical event of all 2020. I would debate that with some meteor showers, but I'm not going to go against Brian Lotta at AccuWeather. The total eclipse will occur during the morning of May 26th, when the Earth's shadow will block the sun's light from shining on the moon's surface, as all 3 celestial bodies line up in a straight row. During the eclipse, the moon's color will grow darker and appear to be a rusty reddish tint, which is why some sky watchers will call it a blood moon. The blood moon rises, friends. Yeah. Get your voodoo dolls. The May full moon is normally nicknamed the flower moon because that's the time of year when many plants are blooming. But this year it will garner many nicknames, including the blood moon, supermoon, and super blood moon, because it's got to be just epic all the time. But there's a caveat. Because of its morning timing, only part of this lunar eclipse will be visible in the eastern United States and most areas of North America, according to AccuWeather and other experts. So, if we're us on the East Coast, we might be able to see it. It might be a little less awesome to some, but I'm definitely going to go out there and try to check it out no matter what, regardless. Partial lunar eclipse in November. Even though a second lunar eclipse in November will be a partial one instead of a total one, sky watchers in the eastern United States should get a very good view, right? So we get a little shafted on the first one, but on the second one, which is partial, we'll get to see it. But just like everything else with the moon, you're gonna have to wake up early to see it, and you're gonna have to wake up before 4 a.m. and get out there. So that's pretty cool. So I'll leave this in the description below so you can see the dates and times and names and nicknames and special events and all that jazz. And so you can mark it in your calendar, because it's going to be a good year of moons, friends. Always try to get out, because you never know what you're going to see at night under the full moon. It's pretty awesome. All right, Nature Nuts, that does it for this outdoor report. A little short this week, but we hope you found it interesting. Hope you learned something. Hope you got motivated to go outside and see some of the things we talked about. And also, if there's anything we missed, feel free to comment below and we'll get to it. And remember, if you find something interesting, if you see something that's got news, that's newsworthy, that's current events, and it has to do with the outdoors, share it with us. We want to know. We want to know all the good things that are out there so that we can tell the masses. Thanks for being here, friends. See you next week.